What's up?
Hey, how's it going, Brittany?
Good. You look like you're not in quarantine because you're outside.
I'm on my porch.
Ah, got you. I'm just cracking jokes at you, for real, for real. Because I'm,
Yeah, I mean, it's a time to be concerned, but I'm not. I'm enjoying my life. Like nothing really changed.
and you in Atlanta, you in the A, so you got the good weather around you constantly.
Yeah, that's true for the most part. Last night we had a 3 o'clock in the morning a tornado warning, so that
Yikes,
wasn't cool.
yikes.
Not used to that.
Everybody, thank you guys for joining in on the live, especially on time. This is lovely. Welcome to Be Great, Good to Great, where we're highlighting people in all aspects and walks of life, talking about their journey, how they're being great. This is supposed to be an interactive session. I can ask questions, but I'd rather ask yours. So please ask any questions or anything that comes to mind. Darnell, I don't want to give his introduction, but I think we met through Instagram, didn't we?
I can't remember. Is
It had to be. I think it was through Instagram, through like network, and I know that'll be a question that we talk about. But man,
I,
how I know Darnell is through just a bunch of investing through different aspects. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself, say where you're from, and what you do currently.
Hey everybody, I'm Darnell, also known as Mr. Trinidad. Um, Basically, I was I was contemplating on whether to put something together or just actually speak off the top,
Mm-hmm.
and really it is gonna flow better if I just speak off the top. But I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I'm first generation, born. My ancestors, they're from Trinidad and Tobago. We started out in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Some migrated to Canada, and now a few of my family members migrated down here to Atlanta, where it's not so cold and less people and more trees.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I always tell people, even with my Instagram handle, I'm Trini to the bone. I just have my citizenship. So I've always, I didn't start eating American food really until I went to college.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I try to keep the name, to keep the culture, and keep the awareness that America
Mm-hmm.
is a multi melting pot of different cultures, and we need to continue to embrace that.
Yep.
Yep. A little bit more about me. I'm 32 years old. Didn't think I'd be able to say that. Time flies when you're having fun.
You still young.
Yeah, I know. You as young as you feel.
Yep.
So, but yeah, so that young cats that get on here, don't be afraid to speak your age. You're only as old as you feel. Um, but I still get ID'd all the time. Um, so I did a little bit of college. My background is very eclectic. So I was in the military for a few years. I did college, finished college, did a little master's course. I did vocational courses. I mean, I even did paralegal studies. I did medical assistant when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else? Currently, I'm actually in a course studying hemp and CBD, the cannabis oils, the benefits for the actual body.
Mm-hmm.
I did prison. I was in prison for over 3 years. I was affiliated with a gang back in Brooklyn.
You say you were in prison for 3 years?
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yep. And that was from a bad relationship. Uh, it was crazy because you learn and you go through life always trying to be the best that you can be for your future generation,
Mm-hmm.
and you never want to smart people never want to repeat what they had to grow up and endure.
Yep.
Because I come from a single family household. and I didn't know my father and everything like that. So it was actually my ex-wife, you know, that put me in that situation. But I allowed myself to get in that situation because I was still naive and young, and I still thought the sky was green if you told me it was.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just kind of being gullible and naive at the same time, and just her knowing how to push my buttons. But to make a long story short, I ended up at the time marrying a crack addict and a prostitute, and I didn't know. That's how green I was. So, you know, we forward to today, like I'm very conscious and very careful at, you know, who I deal with and who I keep in my circle and who I call, you know, friends. So, um, and there's also such thing as, you know, domestic violence when it comes to a man or a woman against a man. I didn't think I was ever going to be in that situation, but that was the case.
Right.
You know, you get belittled and talked down so much and stuff thrown at you, and as a man you want to defend yourself, and you know you have no other recourse but to react. But you know, that's here nor there. But I only married that person because she had my child at the time, and I thought that was the right thing to do. So one big message that I learned from that experience and being behind bars is that who cares what other people think about you? Do what you know in your heart is right. So even though you know it's the right thing to do, it doesn't mean that that's who you're supposed to jump in bed with and sow good seeds with. You know your worth. Well, at the time I didn't, but you realize that you have an inkling of your worth, that you don't settle for anything less than what you're entitled to and blessed to be able to receive. And I had to learn that experience the hard way, because some people learn it through their own experiences, some people learn it through other people's experiences, and they say that's the truest wisdom. But I needed obviously to learn it for my own self, and that was a time that actually opened my eyes and really showed me that this life is really crazy. Like it has no favoritism. You know, you either do what you gotta do, live the life you gotta live, or life is gonna chew you out and hand you over to, like, you know what I'm trying to say? I'm not.
You gotta forge your own path. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you gotta forge your own path. So, and you only get one. You only get one life. So this is not no dress rehearsal. But
how did
that was
get to where you are today, right? So like fill in the gaps from that point where you talked about prison and being kind of involved with the wrong people and the wrong circles to now where you are. Because the Darnell that I know, you know, I didn't know you from your past, right? I know you as just doing a lot of real estate investing, being like, shoot, the master of Airbnbs, right? Like, just investing in general, applying for grants. Like, we always had tons of brainstorming and great sessions. So, what happened in between that time frame from then to now?
So what happened was life. When you come out, I went from Army Greens to County Greens, like literally, just in a matter of seconds, you know, a day. So what happened was it showed me that either you go out and get it on your own, because nobody's not gonna hand it to you, or you just gonna just walk around and gloat in your own misery and still be blaming other people why you're not successful or why you're not making the money that you need to make. So what it showed me was that there was just a handful of people in my life that really had my back. Before then, I thought I had friends and people in my circle, but when I realized that I had very little, maybe 3 people that I can count that really held me down while I was there, it didn't matter So once I realized that and adopted that mentality and seeing life for what it really was, it was just all about how can I get better. And then even when, because I'm a college graduate, pledged fraternity, military rank, got all these degrees, vocational, carpentry certificate. I'm a welder as well. I'm a landscaper, but that doesn't mean nothing in the real world if you got a record. So after repeatedly trying to knock down doors and figure out like how could I make this money with my skills, and I realized that nobody was trying to give me a time of the day because of my record, I was like, all right, it's time for me to get it on my own, like how I've been doing it in high school. And that's what really allowed me to transition to who I am today. So what I did was I started working with a landscaping company just so I can figure out the ins and out of how to run a landscaping company and how to actually do landscaping, because I didn't know anything about construction until I came out here to Atlanta. I wish I would have learned about construction when I was in New York, but there's a concrete jungle. Ain't nobody renovating houses or anything like that out there. There's not even grass barely for dogs to pee on. So this is where I got my knowledge on construction and renovation. It took one old school cat, his name Robert Dawson. He took me under his wings and showed me the ropes on how to really make money in the construction game. And he took me under his ropes because there's a lot of cats that's selfish when it comes to the construction industry, that's really doing big numbers and really bringing in money. But you gotta have a worth a damn. That's what Ty Lopez says. You gotta have a worth a damn factor, which is you gotta differentiate yourself from the rest. What are you doing different from the other cats that say they can pick up a paintbrush and paint? So once I showed them that I basically could learn something really quick, or I could go in 12 hours at a time until the job is knocked out and done, and just build time with that person and ask a lot of questions. Like, I was in my late 20s asking, like, how do you screw in that screw right there? Or why did you use that piece of wood to shore up that wall? Why are you using that tool instead of that? Like, it kind of humbles yourself, but at the same time, as long as you know where you're trying to go and what the information could lead you to, it doesn't matter. So I worked literally blood, sweat, and tears for pennies on the dollar, but it was well worth it because the cats that he introduced me to, like, he literally had the keys to Atlanta, from nightclubs to the restaurants to celebrities. Like, I have celebrity clients now because of him. But it's just, you had to put in that work and put in that dedication to get to that point. So once I saw that this man, he probably didn't even finish high school, but got literally the keys to the city. I like that. Like, let me explore this a little further. And so I did that with the construction as well as with the landscaping, just learning the ins and outs.
So we got a question, Darnell, saying, did you seek out him as a mentor, or did he see something in you?
He saw something. I didn't seek him out. He saw me dedicated to making sure that I honored my commitment to my customer. We met by me trying to assemble a 3,000 piece playset, outdoor playset, and my little self with my Black & Decker tools at the time, just trying to get on. So basically the client that I was working for called him to help me out on a job because she saw that it was going to take me weeks to finish if it was just me on my own with my little Black & Decker tools. So when he saw that I was there fully committed and dedicated, He was like, man, I like your style. I like, I see that you're determined.
Let me help you out.
Yeah, yeah. So from there, that's how that journey began.
So how did you move from, you said you put like blood, sweat, and tears, right, for like no money to now becoming an investor, right? Now you're in a more comfortable place. You have multiple properties. You're doing a lot of Airbnbs. How was that transition? Did you start off? Did you like save up like $5,000, $10,000, or what was it like for you?
No, I ain't save up anything. See, the thing with real estate is you gotta hustle. Like the beginning, you always have to hustle. Like you don't need any money. Like I've put properties under contract for $10, which is the minimum legal requirement,
Wait,
which is the minimum,
how do you
which is
do
the
that? I need $10 right now, Darnell. Give me a
yeah. I mean, we could make it happen. It's just about finding motivated sellers and what kind of leads you can get. And a lot of times we have diamonds in our backyard that we don't know unless we actually like remove the blinders off our eyes, or just watch a video or something that shows that, okay, this may be an opportunity, and it's sitting right across. Like if I show you right now this house right across from me right there, I don't know if you can see that well, but that house has been sitting abandoned for the past 6 months. So what I learned to do was figuring out who the owners of these vacant properties or abandoned properties were and calling them. Hey, Mr. Seller, how are you today? My name is Darnell Richard. I'm actually a real estate investor in the local market, and I'm looking to buy some property in your neighborhood. Have you thought about selling? If they say yes, the next question normally be like, how much you trying to offer? And then my follow-up question is, how much does it need in repair? Or if this is the property that I'm talking about across the street, I see that it's been vacant for X amount of months. It looks like there's some serious repairs needed. What's the lowest you can take if I come to you with cash right now? And then you wait for them to respond. So that's all negotiating tactics, but you let them tell you their price first before you come back with a price, because a lot of times you can lose a bunch of money or lose out on a couple of grand if you talk first. So once we find out what number they'll feel comfortable selling their property for, letting it go, then you could come back with your counter offer, and then you just put it on paper. So it took me 2.5 years to close on my first deal. From the time that I started in construction and saw how old school was moving in the industry and getting it, it took me 2.5 years. I'm talking about like he had clients that was real estate gurus.
You said
that would
2 years.
2.5 years.
Oh wow, that's some time. That's some consistency right there.
2.5 years. But the beauty is that I can go anywhere in the world and still be comfortable, because the same skills you learn in your backyard is the same skills that you can apply around the world. And I even tested that theory. I went to Puerto Rico a few weeks ago to get away from all of this quarantine garbage, and I was finding deals in Puerto Rico. So right now, as of today, I got to send out 5 offers in Puerto Rico, like from the same skills that it took me 2.5 years to actually like master and learn.
So let's say that for all intents and purposes, an example, the house across the street, you want to offer $50,000, right? But you don't have $50,000. How would you secure funding to get that property?
The main thing is getting it under contract. So once you have a deal, which means that you got it locked in at the right price, you're always going to find a buyer that's going to want that property from you. So let's say that I got that property across the street for $50,000. I got a contract that says I'm going to buy your house for $50,000, signed, dotted, dated, all of that. So then what I'll do is I'll put that property either on Craigslist or on the Facebook group and say, hey, I got a property for sale starting at 70,000 or best offer. Uh, must close quick and must be cash only buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wait and see who responds. And sometimes you could get properties, closed in 2 weeks. Sometimes it takes a month. The first deal I did, it took a little bit over almost 60 days to close.
That's wholesaling properties, right?
Yeah, that's wholesaling properties.
This makes sense
So
because it sounds like for me with my Amazon business, it's like drop shipping. You're pretty much drop shipping properties.
you're drop shipping with houses.
That's awesome. And you pretty much don't need money, right? You literally have your contract. Your contract is what you're paying it for. Someone else is paying that. Literally, you're the middleman putting two people together and then making that profit.
Yep, you market your assignable contract, but you have to make sure that the contract is assignable. It has to have that in the clause. Otherwise, you can't do it, or you have to double close. Mm-hmm. So the main thing is, if you want to get into real estate, for anybody that's listening, is that everyone starts off wholesaling. There's a bad connotation when it comes to being a wholesaler, and even people with property, they don't want to deal with wholesalers. But it doesn't make any sense because everything starts with wholesaling. And that's like with any product, a car, a comb, toothpaste, that's how everything starts. So even the ones that's doing $1 million deals and doing commercial deals, that's what I'm looking at now. You want to get the best deals through a wholesaler, because the wholesaler is always going to find a discounted property that you don't got to pay retail for.
Okay. Now tell me about Airbnb, right? So you're in the Airbnb business. So how that model works, are you doing like the Airbnb arbitrage?
I'm doing a little bit of both.
Okay. So can you kind of explain people on the live like what that is?
So when it comes to Airbnb, I'm considered an expert in Airbnb because you can do it 3 different ways. The first way, you could either acquire properties on your own and then rent it out on Booking.com, Expedia, Airbnb, VRBO, those different platforms. The second way is you can do master leases, which is you rent out a property. You see an apartment or a house for rent, you rent it out, you become the tenant, but under your master lease, you can lease it out to short-term vacation renters. The third way is doing revenue share, and revenue share is when you partner up with the owner and split the profits with the owner. So I actually have a company that does it's called Home Sharing Management. It's a home sharing management company. I learned that from Ty Lopez. After this, I'll send you the link on the Ty Lopez courses, things that I took in order to get to where I'm at. But his program was the catalyst of where I'm at today, because I didn't know anything about Airbnb and doing retail arbitrage or master leasing or anything like that.
How did you find out about Ty Lopez? Like, what were you doing to find that mentor to help you get you to that next level?
I think it was through Grant Cardone. It was from Grant Cardone, because I went to his. I've been following. I don't follow many people, but Grant Cardone, Ty Lopez, and Dan Pena is my main people that I follow. And Grant Cardone had Ty Lopez on his series 1 week, and I'm like, okay, this man talking good, let me see what he really about. So I ended up seeing going on his YouTube page and just consuming like a wildebeest all his videos and everything, and I ended up investing in one of his courses. The first course I invested in was social media marketing agency. That was a pure hustle business. You got to go out basically like door to door, but to businesses. And I didn't see any money on that. So I'm like, all right.
How much did you invest in that course?
That course, I think, was $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But you got to pay to play.
I'm about to say that's the best thing. The best investment you're making is in yourself and in that knowledge. So that was
Yeah.
one. So you invested $1,000. No, nothing back. So what's the second one?
So then the second one was the wholesaling,
Mm-hmm.
and I invested another thousand,
Okay.
and then I was able to make 13,000 off my first deal.
Wow.
So even though it took me that, so with his course, I actually learned how to wholesale and do a deal in the first 4 days.
In 4 days?
Yeah, in four.
Wow.
So listen, it took me 2.5 years to do my first deal, but when I finally took away the employee mentality and learned that I need to invest in myself because no one else will, I invested into another course, devoted my time to studying what it was teaching, didn't sit on the information and just blindly applied. And within 4 days, I found that first property that I closed 56 days later and made 13,000 on my first deal.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
That felt like a lot once you got that 13K.
man, that
Wow.
was at that time that was equivalent to me working 40 hours a week, 5 days a week for 4 months.
Wow.
So that it wasn't necessarily the amount of money, but it was the type of money that I made that made me realize I am never going back.
Mm-hmm.
Forget what you talking about. I'm not going back. Corporate America kissed my ass because y'all didn't want me because I was a felon or whatever. And my other jobs could kiss my ass because y'all was only trying to pay me $9 an hour and then $13 an hour. And so y'all could kiss my ass. I'm sorry. But you have to celebrate the small wins in order to enjoy the actual journey and the process. Because once you get that information, no one can take it from you.
Right.
And it just proved that it was real. And it wasn't just somebody on the video talking about it. Like it was me with my name on it.
So who do you talk to, right? So I know you're not alone in this journey, this process, right? Like, who are you connecting with that like is doing this with you, right? That you can talk to, not somebody just like. So I know you look at Ty Lopez's courses, right? But you can't speak to him directly. Who do you talk to like get some information, get some insight to keep pushing and keep going? Because I know there are probably people in your ear being like, bro, just go back to your job. Like that 13K might not last. Like what's going on later, right? Like who's your support system in keeping you like motivated?
Myself.
That's it. You don't have like a core group of friends around you.
I know it sounds crazy, but
Okay.
what I've been through, and I told you it took me 2.5 years. This is 2.5 years, me diligently seeking out other investors, me personally going into people's homes, $1 million homes that's done real estate, that's been retired off of real estate, that's been so-called doing deals since I was shooting out puppy water, they would say. It's like these are so every single opportunity I've had, I've tried basically to sell myself.
Mm-hmm.
So once I did that, invested in that course and did my first deal, I realized that if you want consistent growth or consistent results or consistent success, it has to come within, and be very mindful about who you get your information from, because this information, I can't talk to the people in my neighbors or around my block, or I mean, like my circle is very small. Like I probably call you more than I speak to my people back home,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just like people's agenda is different, motives are different, and there's not too many people that can relate to you unless you put that time, energy, and commitment. I got a family now, so
Right.
I got a little stepson, a baby girl, and another one on the way. So you know God blessed me with the opportunity to start over and to realize that the things that I didn't have growing up, that I can pour in and instill in them. So to answer that question, I don't have anybody that I could really lean on for advice and to pull me up to the next level. The people that allow me to pull myself up to the next level is like those guys, like Max Maxwell. He was one of them that I listened to and actually met in person, because he's Jamaican, so we kind of connected on the Caribbean culture vibe. But but really but really life, you have to be self-motivated. You can't be afraid to open a book. You can't be afraid to look at a video. You can't be afraid to just sit, let the sun beam on your face, and just meditate on what God is really trying to pour into you and tell you. Because a lot of the wisdom and a lot of the information that we'll get is when we're still. Prison will teach you that when you're still, you can hear a lot of things that you are not accustomed to hearing before, or that you didn't allow to come before you. So through my journey from getting out to now, I've definitely gained more a spiritual background. I used to, be in the church with my great grandmother, Pentecostal, but now I learned is more about being in tune with the spirit and the body that God gave you. So once you stay in alignment and in tune with what He's telling you to do, or that intuition, or what your ancestors are right there next to you, like just nudging you. They're like, "Oh, I was trying to tell you before, but you wasn't hearing." So counsel of many leads to folly. So that's what. So the answer you is just really, the answers have to come within. If you can't get the answers from within, you don't know how to position and sell yourself to the mainstream or public.
Love it. And we got someone had a question about silent investments, but they didn't ask a question. So can you ask whatever that cool one is? We got I Feel You, Death Motivation. Someone in Jaru Pocket said, "You don't call me, period." But congrats.
What's up? That's my cousin right there.
Yeah, and stillness is key. Yep, my dad told me that as well. Okay, cool. So another question I have for you is, so I see you're investing in yourself, right? Doing a lot of helping people help yourself to make more money. But what other programs, opportunities, or resources have you used to help change the trajectory of making money, of just your mental, emotional stability? I know you talked about Max Maxwell wholesaling, Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone. Is there anything else that you've used to help with your self progress?
Yeah, like I was saying before, is understanding the spiritual side of you. I had to go see someone that deals on the spiritual side, not a pastor, not a minister, anybody like that, but someone that actually deals with holistic healing, and just getting in tune with the spirit. And that was I guess the revelation and turning point last year, because it allowed me to realize and get confirmation that it was nothing like my family is not cursed or anything like that. It was more so Darnell wasn't listening to what my ancestors was telling me to do, or suggesting me to do, or steering me. It was me not feeling their vibrations and learning that they've been with me this whole time, but I was just too stubborn to really listen and try things on my own. Did I answer your question?
No, you did.
Okay.
And you also talked about getting into CBD, right? And I know a lot of people, so weed is now legal in Illinois. We have a lot of dispensaries. A lot of people are now learning about CBD and THC and the difference, and also just how big that business is becoming. So is that a new business stream for you, or what are you doing with that?
This one, I'm just basically I'll just be board certified, inducted into the Doctors Association that can talk about CBD and the benefits of it on the body. So I'm only doing that because I realize that I'm a life learner.
Mm-hmm.
So as a life learner, um, the more diverse you are, the more you can offer to people in different industries. So with that, I'm just taking the course. I'll be inducted into that association. I'm just learning the benefits of hemp
Mm-hmm.
because that was told of me years ago to invest in hemp when I buy my farm and to invest in hemp and sell it. So that was just more for like personal knowledge, and then maybe because I also do business acquisitions, which is buying existing companies that's already generating revenue, that's already have sales, a customer base, an infrastructure in place, and then buying the owner out and developing and growing it to something bigger and more stable. And that's how you really get the bags. That's how you can really walk out the bank with bags of money.
Mm-hmm.
Is business acquisitions. I know you do ATMs. I
Mm-hmm.
even started an ATM company 2 years ago, but I didn't really do anything with it. But what's actually making me money right now, I would say is, the construction, real estate, Airbnb, and yeah, I guess that's enough for right now.
What other, and so we have a question too, right? He said, like, are we talking investments today? And so we were talking about real estate, we were talking about Airbnb. I know you just talked about a little bit about CBD, but not much investing there. And then e-commerce. I know I talked about Amazon, but with
Oh
e-commerce,
yeah,
what do you do
e-commerce.
there?
So e-commerce, I do the retail arbitrage, and
So
that's
the
basically
same thing where it's like buying this for $5, sell it for $10 somewhere else.
yeah. So I had the same thing with the wholesaling course. I had to buy the blueprint in order to learn how to actually do it and monetize on it as an actual business.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you don't want to get into anything that just becomes a job. Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be buying jobs. Like the main goal for myself with the growing family now and just wanting to do things with my existing family is that you want lifestyle, and the only way you're gonna have lifestyle when you have multiple streams of income flowing and coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So with the e-commerce business, I do eBay and I do Amazon, and a lot of the products you can get basically from right in your house. I was showing my other cousin in Miami about how I do that, and so if you see a shirt for $2, but it's a name brand nice shirt that sells, put that right online, mark it up, and then when somebody buy it, you make your money.
You mean
So
like a shirt like at like Goodwill or like Marshalls or wherever?
yep, yep, something like that. So you could go to thrift stores, you can go to thrift stores, you can go to Salvation Army, you could go right in your closet. People got thousands of dollars right in their closet and don't realize it because they just don't have the time or they're not looking at that. So there was this one guy I was talking to. He had a garage full of just soccer equipment, like from shin guards to soccer balls to bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked at it when he showed me and looked it up on eBay, because there's a algorithm that eBay uses where you can put in an item. It shows you what, if you click on like the sold tab, it
Mm-hmm.
shows you what that specific product sold for, when it sold, and the price. So just doing that off a few items, I calculated probably about good $900 just sitting right on his garage that
Wow.
he can capitalize on right now. Free money.
Wow.
So the transit. So once I realized, so I invested that. I think I paid like $700 to learn that,
Mm-hmm.
and then I made that money back in 32 days. I made that back in
That's like
32
the
days.
underlying lesson that you're saying through all this, you know what I'm saying? Like you're investing in yourself and literally like it's coming back 10 times.
Yeah. So now I'm actually in the process of scaling. So I just interviewed one young lady yesterday to do the actual photos and editing and upload the descriptions and things like that. But because remember, you don't want to create another job. So whatever you do, even if you're passionate about it, you still don't want another job for yourself.
Right.
So yeah, so I'm scaling to the point now where the store would generate from 500 items another, two to 4 grand a month, which I know is not a lot, but it's still something.
Yeah, that's a a lot is relative. Yeah, definitely relative. So what's like your goals, right? What are like, and I know you just talked about the scale, but like, what are your goals in the next couple of years, even during quarantine right now?
So my goal is, well, even before I came out to Atlanta, I wrote down my goals, and I said by 29, I want to be retired. So obviously, I'm past that. But but when I look at everything and analyze everything, I actually have peace of mind and I have lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Not financial freedom yet because I won't be satisfied until I have a couple of M's in the bank. But is my goals right now is just to make sure that whatever I do, I stay balanced. So if you want to go on the extremes to always busy, never at home, always traveling, to I'm always in the house, I'm not going anywhere, it's self quarantine. Even without self quarantine, because how I move is still how I move.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that showed me how blessed I really am.
Mm-hmm.
Is that even though this worldwide pandemic, I'm still moving how I'm used to move, and business is still as busy as ever. I'm supposed to be doing a foundation job in a house today, but I'm gonna start that tomorrow. I had to get ready for this today, but business is still picking up. So as far as like my goals go, is I purely just want to scale everything that I have right now,
Mm-hmm.
and then only focus on business acquisitions and becoming my own bank within the next 3 to 5 years. So that way I could extend opportunities to other people that's out there, to my younger generation, and people that are really just trying to make something for themselves and get out the hood, or just be that first one in their family to be a multimillionaire.
So what
That's my goal.
what advice would you give people right now, right during quarantine, if they want to become wealthy or learn how to make a couple $100, couple $1,000, or just try to invest in themselves? Like, what's the best advice that you have for people that are still going through this journey?
You have to use this time to really sit and think about what's your why, and also what motivates you. If nothing excites you and nothing turns you on, then join the military. I guarantee that your life will be more exciting.
That's so sarcastic, Darnell.
Oh my goodness. I mean, like for real though, like you got people that's depressed and sad and just scared right now. But at the end of the day, what's gonna be for you is gonna be for you, and we can't live. You can either live life fearful or you can live life boldly.
Right.
There's no medium. There's no in between. So my advice is to live boldly and live fearlessly, and just try to live your best life now and maintain balance.
Love it. And then who we usually end these lives with, I'll ask you like, who do you know that's being great, or who's pushing you, or maybe influencing you right now, right? Who's like your right hand person, the person behind that we don't see, who's like helping you be great right now.
It really comes back to the same, Britt. Like, is
You ain't
I'm,
got.
I'm myself motivator. Like, I'm really like, it's not really like I'd love to put other people on a platform and I'd love to edify. That's what I learned when I was in a multi-level marketing company, is edifying those like your uplines and leaders before you. But it life is fucked up, and people are really fucked up. To be very blunt, to be very blunt. So at the end of the day, people only care about themselves. That's that's the conclusion I came to. So when it comes to me shouting out anybody, you know, I shouted out those that directly influenced my life.
Right.
I can give a shout out to my lady. You know, she's been holding me down when I was homeless, sleeping in my truck, till you know now. You know, she used to be a teacher, and now you know she hasn't had to work in over 2 years. So I could shout her out, but and everybody else, that I could give you a shout out for even putting this together and allowing me to be able to speak on your platform. I commend you for that, and everything that you do, and being great. I didn't realize that your last name was really Great House.
Oh,
It's
yes, it
like way later. I thought it was just a brand, you know, like that was your brand. You was pushing to be great, but it was actually your name, so that's cool.
Shout out to my pops for the last name. Thank you. So also, how can people connect with you, Darnell, right? Maybe if they want to learn more about real estate, Airbnb, e-commerce, if they want to, I don't know if you've given out courses or any programs, or if people want to do deals with you, or even be like an investor with you, like how can people reach out?
They can reach out to me on Instagram at Mr. Trinidad of Atlanta, and you know we can go from there. But I'm open to all opportunities, and like I said before, I'll send you the link, like my referral links to the other programs that I took advantage of. That was really helpful. And you know, if anybody wanted to invest, you know, I'm a contractor, so you know anybody that invests with me, I pay a pretty good penny for those that wants to invest. And for anybody that has a deal or a possible deal, you know, you can send them my way, as long as you have the basic information, like the property address, the owner's information. We could do a three-way and try to get that deal closed. For those that want to learn or just need like a mentor or somebody to just like talk to, let's start with IG first. But I'm always available because, like I said, my circle is very small. But I'm open to being able to mentor and speak with anybody that would actually do something with the knowledge that I give.
Right, right. Well, I appreciate you, Darnell, for coming on. And I mean, you've always, ever since you've been in my life too, you've been very like a consistent, great friend. I mean, I've learned so much from you. Got so much advice, even like inspiration. You're always like you have a, good energy all the time. Every time we talk, you always got some gems to drop. We're always going back and forth on what we're doing. I mean, I wrote down a ton of things that you did, that you said during this hour. So this was extremely helpful for sure for me, and I'm sure for the people that are listening, watching. And so I want to thank you again. And yeah, I'll grab the links after. I'll include it on the YouTube video and for on IGTV so people can use those resources instantly. And again, thank you so much.